Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm Rick Harrison with Realty ONE Group MVP down here in Southwest Florida. And if you're wondering what's going on in Lee County, Southwest Florida, today's video, I'm going to be going over all the latest data, some of the recap from 2024 into 2025, since we are in the first week of January. And I'm going to be going over the trends, what's going on in the market. Is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? Moving forward, what are we going to be looking at as far as trends go? So let's dive right on into the data and get started. Starting us off with Lee County's median sale price, we're at $385,000 here in December. This data just came out a couple days ago. And then our all-time high for 2022 was at 420. So since 2022, that all-time high, we've seen it come down about 9%. And that is what I said back in, quite a while back, months and months ago. I said that I thought 10% was where we're going to be hitting as far as the lows go for the median sales price. Again, this is an average, but the overall trend is downward, and we are going to continue seeing that until we see some alleviation. Closed sales. This is going to be our indicator. It's a lagging indicator as to what was going on in the market the last 30 to 60 days. So this is telling you where we were in the market. We'll talk about pending sales in a minute. That's going to be showing you where we are in the market right now. But where we were in the market, we had 1,213 closed sales in December. Again, the holiday season is usually slower. A lot of people are having family gatherings, people over, parties, things like that. They're not usually looking to buy or sell a property during those months. So we do see this typically decline for seasonal changes. However, the average back in 2021 of April was almost 3,000 closed sales during that month. So you can see we're down to almost 40, actually a little bit lower than 40% of where we were for closed sales. New pending sales, this is more of a leading indicator. It's telling us what's going on in the market right now. So for December, we had 1,153 new contracts for homes. Comparing that back to the all-time highs, March 2021, we were at almost 3,000 here as well. Only about 40% of that all-time high. So the trend is downward for pending sales too. It goes back to the interest rates right now. 30% of the market is usually first-time home buyers. So as you can imagine, at 7% with where prices are, and what they're going to be getting for a home, most buyers are just kind of sitting back waiting. A lot of them either can't afford it or don't think they can afford it. So as a seller, you got to keep that in mind. Prices are coming down. There's not as much demand out there for buyers. And then on the other side of that coin is for buyers who are able to and looking to buy in 2025, you have a pretty good opportunity here. There's not a lot of competition. Prices are coming down. Interest rates are pretty much stagnating right now. They're not going down or going up, but if you can afford, it's not a bad time to get some really good deals. Sellers are willing to negotiate concessions for closing costs, make the repairs for inspections. So, it's not a bad time to buy. Taking a look at active inventory, Lee County, we are at all-time highs for active inventory. Even going back before COVID, we're at almost 11,000 properties on the market right now active. You can see our all-time lows back here in January of 2022, only about 2,000 properties. So we're over 5 times the amount of inventory on the market. Again, for buyers, that's letting you know like there's not much competition. There's a lot of inventory. There's a lot of choices to choose from. And for you sellers, this is what is putting downward pressure on prices. There's not a lot of buyers out there, and there's a ton of inventory that you're competing against. So they have a lot of options to choose from. You got to find some way to stick out and stand out apart from the rest of the competition. Month supply of inventory, contradictory to what you might expect. Because there's a lot of inventory, we still only have about 9 months of active inventory supply. So if there was no more listings to come on the market right now, the amount of buyers that are in the market, we still have enough inventory to last for about 9 months at the purchase rate right now. So it's definitely in favor of buyers right now, but it's not to the point where it's like crazy. Sellers, you don't have to make ridiculous concessions, but at the same time, you probably will have to make some in order to get the deal closed. Now, for you sellers, let's take a look at days on market close. So this is basically the number of days between when a property is listed to actually getting a contract on that home. So you have about 52 days you're going to be waiting from the day you list to actually getting your first contract. So almost 3 months, not quite. If you're at about a month and you haven't had a lot of traction, you haven't had a lot of walkthroughs or tours, don't freak out. It's not the end of the world. It's just taking some time to really get some momentum right now in this current market because there aren't as many buyers out there. Days in escrow. So we have 52 days from list to contract. Days in escrow is how many days from contract to close can you expect? And as you can see right here, it's about another month. Typical of an FHA or conventional loan, it's about 30 days for approval and to be able to get all that paperwork out before you can actually close. Now, list to close is the full spectrum. So as you can imagine, it would be the combination of those two. From the 52 days plus the 31 days, you're looking at about 96 days on average. Now, new listings is also a leading indicator. We're getting back into the swing of things. You can see during COVID, we were down below the median range here, and we're starting to see the same swings come back, the ups and downs. So we're at 2,582 new listings coming on the market for December. Again, that's pretty typical for an average market, which is what we're in right now. So I hope that information was helpful. I have another video going out, going over Collier County specifically, because they're two very separate and different markets. So if you want to check that out, subscribe to the channel. I'll have that one coming out next. And then over the next couple of days, you'll have those of you who are looking or interested or potentially buying or selling in 2025. I have two separate videos coming out, one for buyers, one for sellers. It's going to go over everything you really need to know as far as what the market conditions are like, what you need to do to price your home correctly, what you need to do to get a good deal as a buyer, and then also the big changes that came out with the NAR. So talking about buyers commissions and sellers commissions, what are those things going to look like now in 2025? So if you're preparing for any moves in 2025, subscribe to the channel. You'll probably want to check out those videos. But until then, stay safe, stay positive, and more importantly, stay free.